Hi there, Capricorn. How are you? It's me, Anissa, from the Inner Stereo, and I'm back again doing your end of September 2018 readings. So this reading is going to be from the 23rd of September until the 30th September 2018, okay? So as usual, this is going to be a relationship spread, and you could always apply it with any who. It could be with your boyfriend, girlfriend, husband, wife, fiance, exes, crushes, any who. I'm basically just going to pick up your relationship energy in general, all right? And please don't forget to check your sun, moon, or Venus sign, because I tend to realize that with my readings, I resonate much more with my Venus sign rather than my sun sign. So how are you guys doing right now, Capricorn? Haven't been doing your readings for quite some time now. By the way, your October reading is coming up. I'm going to start uploading them starting from Thursday, I think. I'm going to do it in chronological order, though. So it's going to be from Libra, and then after that, the rest of the sun that follows. Okay? So, how are you guys doing right now? What is your energy for the now? You kind of like have this bipolar energy going on, because why? Because you have these. You have the High Priestess, and you also have the Four of Pentacles, but also at the same time you have this Page of Cups. So deep down inside of you, you still do feel like you want to extend an offer towards someone. There is this genuine, selfless type of love that you still feel towards someone. It's a type of love that you don't really care if you were to be overextending yourself, because that's just how much you felt for that person, if that makes sense. The Page of Cups in the traditional Rider-Waite Tarot, I think I mentioned this like a lot of time, is the first fish that this person kind of like ever caught in their life, and then they're willing to give it to you. And this is your overall energy for the now. So it's very, very good, because it's your first fish, and rather than you enjoy it to yourself, you would rather to give it to someone else. But there's also this sense of kind of like boasting, and there's also this kind of like heroic attitude when you kind of like wanting to extend that self. But there's something here that's kind of like stopping you. Why? With this High Priestess, because you feel, with the High Priestess, it's like the universe way of saying that, you know what, Capricorn, now is kind of like is the time for you to get back in touch with your intuition, because you haven't been kind of like using them for quite some times now. Okay, it's time for you to get back to your intuitions, listen clearly to what your heart is telling you, and to see things in a black and white position. You know what I mean? Because I feel like with this Page of Cups, it's kind of like is the universe ways of saying that, you know what, you're being too pure, you're being too selfless, you love someone so much, and you're trying to be loyal to someone so much, and you don't want to betray them, but unintentionally you're actually betraying yourself. People does this all the time, when you kind of like love someone, you forget to love yourself. You don't want to betray them, but yet you betray yourself. So that's kind of like the universe way of saying, like, you know what, Capricorn, try not to betray yourself. Try to be kind of like a little bit grounded when it comes to loving someone. You can love someone, but you can also love yourself at the same time. It doesn't have to be sacrifices all over the place. With the Four of Pentacles, now you're kind of like closing off your heart chakra. So it's like 60% of you wanting to just keep it into yourself. Everything that you feel, all these bottled up feelings that you feel it towards you, you kind of like want to keep it up to yourself. The Four of Pentacles, especially in this particular deck of mine, it's also kind of like being stubbornly kind of like clinging on to something that is kind of like actually not healthy. There's always have to be a middle ground in between, loving someone and also loving yourself, if that makes sense. The Four of Pentacles in my Japanese tarot, it's been symbolizes as the puppeteer. So I feel like you do kind of like have the tendency in the now to kind of like betray yourself is not who you are, meaning that on the outside world, people see you as someone who is very, very happy because you're putting on a show. You're putting your puppet out there, and you're like, yes, I'm happy. This is my life. Yes, even if you're dealing with someone, yes, I'm fine, la la la. But deep down inside, you kind of like feel like you want to blow up in some ways. You want to scream out loud about your emotions and how you truly feel about a particular situation, but you can't. So you're kind of like putting on a show in here. What is challenging you, Capricorn? You have the Seven of Pentacles, and you also have the Karma card. The Karma card in a traditional Rider-Waite Tarot is going to be a Judgment card. So there's like a final decision that needs to be made for quite some time now, but you guys have not been able to make it yet, right? You guys are kind of like in a period of wishy-washiness in the now, and then there's like a Seven of Pentacles here. So you could be dealing with someone who actually wants, who is kind of like distancing themselves away from you, and because they feel like they've already done so much, and now it's your turn to kind of like go to them as a mean of their return of investment, if that makes sense. But this is also you. Seven of Pentacles is just like the energy of, you know what, let's see what happens. I'm just going to wait and see. I'm just going to buy my times. I'm going to give time. But sometimes giving time, it's good. But if it has already been going on for too long and it kind of like is hurting you on the inside, that you don't feel like you're living in the present because you're so I'm not saying pretentious, but you're so busy of trying to convince the other parties and yourself that everything is okay, everything is like this, but deep down inside it kind of like feels shattering on the inside. It's also not healthy, So in the past, this person has the Seven of Swords. The Seven of Swords, don't. Seven of Swords could be like a little bit of a lies going on behind your back. Seven of Swords is also cards of lies, agenda, manipulations. The Seven of Swords is also talking about someone who ice skate about their emotions. Be very careful because they have this Page of Swords here too. Okay, so if you're dealing with only one person, this Page of Swords is someone who does have like a lot of trust issues, who does have like a lot of abandonment issues deep down inside of them. And it's possible for them to not play fair, if that makes sense, because they're so busy protecting their heart that they don't realize that they're hurting you also. Okay, and if you were to kind of like confront them about certain things, they're just going to be very, very mean towards you. They're just going to be like completely kind of like cutting you off or being very, very harsh with their words. It's actually their way of protecting their emotions, but unintentionally they don't realize it, that they kind of like hurting you in the process. With the Seven of Swords, if you kind of like accusing them of lies, or if you kind of like accusing them of cheating, it's actually true. Whatever you accuse them of is actually true. But if you were to kind of like go and confront them, or if you want to play your detective behavior on them and try to find out the truth, they'll be so defensive over it. They would be so defensive over it. You, on the other hand, you see what I said to you earlier. This is your energy, this is them. You were so busy being loyal and trying not to betray them. You're betraying yourself. You're betraying yourself. There is this Wheel of the Year in reverse in here. So there was like a few circumstances that was happening in the past that just like it was not really healthy for you, that the universe has a way of saying like, no, you know what, whatever it is that you're trying to do with this person, I'm just not going to make it happen. Because there is a call for time out in here, so that both of you could actually reflect on one another. You still do have like this one thing to have the very, very stable and grounded a relationship with them. You still see a very, very good side of them. You see them as a wife or husband material. You want to manifest this relationship into like a more stable, so maybe could like engagement or moving in together or whatever that is. You kind of like still do this while actually on the inside you have this Two of Swords attitude. There's like a lot of bipolar energy going on from you, Capricorn. I feel like you guys were unable to kind of like pinpoint exactly what is it that you need to do. On the other hand, you felt this very, very great, strong connection towards this other person, but this other person is actually not extending anything. I mean, this person is like all swords here with the Seven of Swords and the Page of Swords. God damn, it's so harsh. But it's beautiful in the now, though. Yeah, it's beautiful because you have the Six of Cups and you also have the Three of Pentacles. So this person is kind of like coming back into your life, and they're kind of like, there's this particular sweet memories that both of you share that this person cannot let go of. There's a sense of familiarity. There's the sense of, by you have the power to give them like a lot of love and emotional support so that they could get back in touch with their inner child. Everybody has their inner child deep down inside, that makes you feel very, very giddy, that makes you feel kind of like home and everything like that. With the Three of Pentacles, this person is kind of like wanting to kind of like collaborate with you together in order to manifest, what you had in the past again. So they're kind of like, and there's like a lot of stalking behaviors. I get this a lot for Capricorn reading. I feel like your last reading is about someone's playing detective, right? Yeah. But this person, the reason why this person is kind of like closing off, I feel like there's a little thing that this person is not really telling you, and it has to do with someone that they were dealing with in the past as well. Okay, I mean, Venus is going to be in retrograde on I think it was October 5th. So there's like a lot of nostalgic feelings coming, for all other signs. And that love that they feel towards you, they also kind of like felt towards everyone else that they've been dealing with in the past. So it's like, yeah, just have to say it out loud. But they do kind of like actually wants to collab with you. They do kind of like stalks the shit out of you heavily. And I feel like you guys kind of like felt it, because right now you guys are being depicted by the Queen of Wands in reverse, which is good, because the Queen of Wands in reverse is someone who is very, very strategic, someone who can actually boastfully do things to make this person kind of like hooked into you, if that makes sense. So it's good. You're getting out of a period where you felt like you were having like a lot of midnight anxieties, midnight thoughts about them, stressing out over them, and so on and so forth. Deep down inside, though, you have this Knight of Swords attitude in reverse, meaning that you actually wanted to kind of like charge at them in some ways, but now you guys are kind of like playing it smart with this Queen of Wands in reverse attitude. This person has the Ten of Wands in here. So this person would want to actually do, the Ten of Wands always have a direction in which they want to go to, right? And they understand that it's going to be like a bumpy road ahead, and it's not going to be like smooth sailing Capricorn, but they're still willing to kind of like put in the work, although it's going to kind of like it's going to cause like a lot of sacrifices from their part, but they're actually willing to. They're actually been thinking about doing that for you too. You have the Moon card. You have the Emperor card. I love it. You believe God is a woman and I love this. You have the Lover's card in reverse, by the way. So I feel like in the future, which is going to happen like by the end of September 2018, you guys are going to have this energy of the Emperor, meaning that you're not longer having it any longer, okay? And I feel like because you guys kind of like felt like you have the upper hand in some ways, that you will have this Emperor attitude in you. So meaning that you're going to kind of like enforce your ideas, which is good, I'm not going to say that you're doing it for bad reasons. No, you've been played for quite some times now. And with this Emperor card, it's like you guys are kind of like putting your foot down and says that, you know what, this is what I want. Like, if you want me, you're going to have to do certain things like this. And the beautiful part about it is that by you kind of like actually able to communicate clearly from your mouth what is it that you want, and all the things that you're expecting them to do, you're getting out of a period of the shadow side, the feeling where you're kind of like being squirmy in the ass and you're kind of like being worried about anything like that. Okay, is your intuition kind of like guiding you? I feel like, I don't know when is the full moon or lunar cycles going on, but during that time, you're going to have this Emperor energy, which is going to make them hit by a pang of realization about what is it that they're supposed to be doing. Are they going to be doing like straight away? I feel like they're going to be kind of like with the Two of Wands attitude, like they know exactly what they need to do. And they're also going to be kind of like buying a little bit more times just to do that. But they have the intention there, with the Two of Wands in reverse, meaning that they're eyeing the possibilities of a future with you, and they know exactly what they want to do with it. Okay, but it's going to be like a much more decision-making process coming from their part. So if they were to have like multiple options or multiple thoughts in their head about what is going on, what they're going to be doing with you, I feel like they're going to come up with one conclusion about what is it. It's going to be like 75% that they're willing to kind of like put in the effort and do the work for you rather than the other way around. So it's a good one actually, because they still have that 75% in them. It's going to be kind of like a little bit slow, but at least you do kind of like communicate exactly how you truly feel with this Emperor card in reverse. It's a good one. It's a good one, but because your intuition is going to tell you to do that. You're so done being stuck in this darkness, not knowing where you stand in someone else's life. You're so done of having to do all of this wondering by yourself that you're going to kind of like erupt that Emperor energy deep down within you. And it's a good one. I feel like it's always something that I keep on saying during the Capricorn reading, that you need to kind of like word vomit out so that you know. And by you doing that, you're actually getting out of a period of shadow side, which is good, Capricorn, which is good. All right, so I feel like that's it for my reading for you guys for the now. I'll see you guys this week. Bye-bye.